Yassas. What happens when you take two vibrant brothers that are descendants from the Greeks in Constantinople, embracing their American roots, and then ask them to serve up rich tales of traditions, cuisine, childhood memories, and a hearty dose of humor? You're about to find out. This is Baklavine Banter, your passport to all things Greek.
Welcome to Baklava and Banter. I am Petraki.
And I'm Soto.
Oh, here we are, folks. We are just weeks away from Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you something. Did you go out for Black Friday? Did you go out shopping at all?
No, because I'm not crazy.
So, it used to be a holiday for me. But once they stopped a few years back, when they stopped opening shops up on Thanksgiving, that kind of ruined it for me.
Right.
I like to go out at midnight and fight people off for TVs. But we're not here to shop online. We're going to talk about basically the tradition of a Greek Christmas and what it encompasses. But before we do that, I just want to say, now I know you're not a big sports person, which is fine. But December 6th, it is the 29th birthday of Milwaukee Bucks player Giannis Antetukumpo. So I want to say happy birthday to him. I always thought about this. There's not that many. I mean, his brother Thanasi is also playing for the Milwaukee Bucks. And God, I wish there was more Greek players in the NBA because I would love to him to be mic'd up and hear him talk trash talking in the NBA because I think it would be better than any other, like a Kobe or a Michael Jordan or any other players out there, like a James Harden, who really are running their mouths out there. I would love to hear it in Greek. Like, does he call him like a Malaka out there? Like, what does he call him? Like, that's like, ESPN should mic him up. TBS, listen, mic him up. I would love to hear the trash talking. I think it'd be impeccable. It's probably bleeped out because, you can't put that on air no matter what the language is. Or he's yelling at him in Nigerian, one or the other. But I think either way, happy birthday, Yanni. So, moving forward, did you have a good weekend? Good Thanksgiving? Everything was good?
It was good. It was a very, very very traditional. I didn't have a mom-like setup.
Yeah.
We went out with some friend. We went to some friend's house.
Yeah.
Had the turkey, which was very nice. Low and slow in the smoker.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Your mashed potatoes, your green bean casserole, and everything else. So
that's good. By the way, did you go pick up the chicken flavored Idahoan potatoes yet? Mashed potatoes?
I have not. We were at Sam's Club the other night, and they do have the Idahoan roasted
but they don't
garlic.
They don't carry that. They don't carry that one.
You have to go to Walmart, I think, right?
Walmart, or look at do you have a Safeway?
Oh yeah.
Check out Safeway as well. Telling you, you're not. I just went and picked up 8 more packages. I just want to let you know that. Okay, that's how If you guys want to know what we're talking about, look at the last 5 minutes of the previous video.
Yeah.
Not a disappointment. I assure you that.
That's a lot of mashed potatoes.
Let me tell you, it's like it's the meal of champions.
Yeah.
So why don't we go ahead? Let's talk about the traditional Greek Christmas. We're a few weeks away now.
Yeah.
So why don't we talk about what exactly is the traditional Greek Christmas? Because even though we Greek Americans, or those who live in Greece, we do give gifts to one another. It's a different, same church, different pew type of mentality with this. So why don't you drill down a little bit in this, and we'll talk about each little point.
Yeah. So there's a couple of traditions, some of which are probably a bigger tradition in Greece than they are in the U.S. But one of those traditions is there's a traditional decorating of the Christmas boat. The Caravaki is what they call it. And it survives today. Again, some of these traditions that we don't see in the U.S. It survives mostly in the islands and along the seaside regions of Greece. I think from what I've seen, the first actual Christmas tree in Greece wasn't decorated until like 1833. And many families also started decorating trees, but it wasn't after probably the 1950s that the Christmas tree started to replace the traditions of decorating that that Christmas boat, if you will. And now the Christmas tree, as in I think certainly in the U.S. and so forth, is mostly decorated to celebrate Christmas, but in many cases it's done along with the traditional Karavaki, right, with the Christmas
Yeah,
boat.
I'm just wondering when they decorated these boats, and
Yeah.
I'm for those of you out there, if you know the answer to this, please give us some feedback on this. What I don't know is how they decorated them. I can't imagine like back, when the boat decorating started for, it's been a few hundred years now. It's not like they had lights. I'm sure now it may be, but I'm just curious, like, was it with some sort of like garland, or was it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, did they
Yeah.
have
So
like Poseidon in like a Hawaiian shirt?
the majority of decorating that happens, which actually pretty cool, is because you can imagine a lot of these are multi-masted sailing boats, if you will. They
Mm.
basically light them up. It's almost like being in Rockefeller Center if instead of the tree you had a boat. But the other thing that's significant here is the decorating typically happens on December 6th, which
Right,
is the feast day of Saint Nicholas,
right,
who was the patron saint of sailors.
right.
And
Okay.
so that's kind of the other, and the boats are displayed until the Epiphany, which is January 6th, is sort
Okay.
of the,
Yeah.
but
So it's like a
yeah,
30-day
right,
festival, so on and so forth.
right.
Okay.
Um, so then the other thing, and I know we did this growing up, especially when we were in Greek school, is the traditional Greek Christmas carols, the kalanda, as they say.
Oh, God damn it.
And so they're sung in within. There's 3 caroling days in Greece. So it's the morning of Christmas Eve, the 24th, the morning of New Year's Eve, which is the 31st, and then it's the morning of the eve of the Epiphany, so January 5th. And so children basically in groups go from house to house, again, similar to what we see in the U.S. They sing the carols accompanied by instruments like metal triangles, sometimes drums, and basically they're given a small amount of money, tips, I guess, by
Yeah.
residents of each home. And the general tenor, the lyrics, if you haven't heard, and I'm sure if you're Greek, I know you have, the Greek Christmas carols are basically prosperity and luck to the family. So that's kind of I always thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah. So
Um,
you're talking about the Epiphany, right?
yeah,
We always talk about, or they always talk about the 3 wise men and what exactly they brought to, to talk about like frankincense and the myrrh.
mirth, right?
So, like, I'm just curious. Yeah, I remember singing the carols and stuff like that. But like you said, they weren't really religious based,
Right.
really, right? They were more just about like Santa Claus is coming,
That's right.
and stuff like that. So I think that's somewhat interesting to me because I think it's one holiday unlike Easter where it's less about the religious aspect of it. Even though it's not on how it's being celebrated. I think there's a little more credence put on the gift giving itself.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you knew this or not, but in Greece, when they give gifts, you don't give gifts to everybody in Greece.
Right.
You give those closest to who are worthy of the gift, and the gift has to be wrapped, and it has to be opened more or less the minute you show up somewhere, so
Right.
that the person who gives you the gift
Yeah.
can see your reaction to the gift. So I'm just, I think that's more tradition. But so what happens if you get a gift card in Greece? Like, what happens? Do you like lose your crap over there? Like, so folks, those of you listening, do Greeks give Greek like gift cards? I'm not talking about the U.S. because it's very common
Yeah.
to give gift cards here.
Right.
But those of you who have in Greece, like, I'm sure there's gift cards. I'm sure you can find them. But do people get upset? Like, what happens if you're not a big fan of we'll drill down this later when we do our top 10 list. But one of the worst gifts that people hate to get are gift cards to places that you don't use. So what happens if you love X, Y, and Z Greek restaurant,
Right.
and somebody ends up giving you like a gift card to like the Greek version of the Olive Garden? Like, do you go like nuts there and start yelling at them? Like, I
Yeah.
just,
I, th-
sorry.
I
I'll go ahead. I'll let you finish. I'm
I
sorry.
was also going to add, for Greeks, the
Yeah.
biggest holiday of the year is Easter,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
Christmas. But I
Yeah.
think for Greeks, the other significance, other than obviously the birth of Christ, as we see in Christianity, the other big deal, though, there's a reason why you said Santa Claus, Saint Nicholas, is celebrated.
Yeah.
Because, and again, the historical aspect and the elaboration of this, there's many stories, but I think it's generally agreed on that the whole myth of Saint Nicholas and what became in other countries Santa Claus and so forth came out of, he was born in basically modern day Turkey,
Yeah.
to wealthy Christian parents.
Yeah.
And so it was all about giving and kindness, which I think is appropriate because I think, as we said in
Sure.
other episodes, the whole neat thing about being Greek when you meet other Greeks and they figure out you're Greek is, we always joke about you're in the middle of making you a gyro and all of a sudden for you a little more meat, my friend, for you a little
Yeah.
more. So I always thought that's an interesting aspect of why a lot of the carols kind of relate to that.
No. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And you know what the funny thing is that you're talking about like Saint Nicholas, who was it's more philanthropic,
Right. Right.
especially he loved to give to the kids. Um, but it was one of those things that it wasn't, he wasn't like a Robin Hood, steal from Paul to pay Peter, something like that. It was just just an individual, like you said, who just loved children and wanted them to have a better life.
Yeah. So on that note, when we talk about traditions, so Saint Basil, Agios Vasilios, right, the Greek Santa Claus,
Mm-hmm.
is so again, according to tradition, we just mentioned that Greeks associate gift giving with basically an old man with a white beard and a red cape.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So Saint Basil's feast day is the 1st of January.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the day that Greeks usually exchange gifts. And Agios Vasilis comes to every home on Christmas Eve carrying gifts for children. So
Right.
again, you have a holiday specific around that,
Yeah.
and so forth.
Do you think though, like, of course, Basil or Vasily was an actual person who they gave
Right,
sainthood to,
right, right.
But do you think when he was actually doing this, like, and I'm saying this very tongue in cheek, so don't get upset with me, people. Do you think he smelled like a gyro when he was going to house? Like, was he
That's
working the
that's
diner,
that's just
or
bad.
no? I'm just asking, But but and there's another song for you. I'm not going to sing it for you. Maybe in our next episode we'll go do some caroling online.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sorry. I just had like PTSD thinking about this song in Greek school.
Mhm.
But I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'll let you continue.
So that's a good segue because our next three traditions are all related to food.
Yeah.
So the first one, which I will be making this year, is Saint Basil Zygos Vasilis cake, which is Vasilopita. So again, Vasilopita, traditional Greek cake, or I guess some people call it a bread. It's served at midnight on New Year's Eve to celebrate the life of Saint Basil of Agios Vasilis. So according to tradition, after the cake is baked, a coin is actually inserted through the base, and then the person, you basically divvy up the cake, give people a slice, and the person who finds the coin is said to be granted luck for the rest of the year. Now,
Now,
I remember when we grew up,
so
mom used to actually wrap it in a little aluminum foil,
yeah, she'd cook it.
put it
She'd
in the
insert
battery.
it into the dough. Yeah, exactly. Now you and I know, and you know,
Yeah.
I can't speak for the whole Greek community. I'm gonna take a crack at this. You
Okay.
know,
Yeah.
people would not eat this cake. I mean, you would eat it,
Yeah.
but you would
Tear
you'd
it
break
apart.
this. Yeah, you'd break this thing up looking for this coin. You know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
traditionally for us, it was mostly, she'd throw a quarter in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because it's midnight. Us growing up, we just finished watching Dick Clark, dropping the ball in Times Square, and we were ready to pass out, and
Yeah.
if we were lucky, and
Yeah.
then whatever pieces weren't destroyed, you're having it for breakfast.
Yeah. And to me, it was always very similar, tasting and so forth, other than the process of, chudeki, which
Yeah,
is sort of the Greek
yeah.
brioche. The other thing I'll add too is that there's just to add to the same tradition. So there's a process when you cut the cake, right? So it's every year after midnight on New Year's Eve. But then in how the cake is cut, the first piece is cut for Christ.
Mm-hmm.
The second piece for the Virgin Mary. The third piece is for the house. And then the rest of it is cut into pieces that are distributed
Right.
to the family by order of age.
Yeah.
So you can't game the system.
So we never really ever discussed this.
Yeah.
So what if Christ gets the coin? Do you get to go and take it back?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, I don't.
and
I think there was a lot of foreclosures going on that night.
you know what? I think that's a good question to pose for mom, and hopefully she doesn't think you're crazy for asking. So
No comment.
yeah, so we move from Vasilopita to other sweets. You know how much we like to talk about sweets
Mm-hmm.
on this show. So there is melomakarona,
Oh yeah, you're talking
kurabiedes,
dirty now. You're talking dirty now.
and wait for it,
Yeah.
viples.
Oh yeah.
So
Did you say Curabiedis?
yeah, kurabiedes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so kurabiedes have again going back to, we talked about this before. We talked about Constantinople and Turkey. Kurabiedes actually have an Ottoman origin.
Yeah.
And melomakarona, which is the Greek honey cookies, have their roots in Byzantine times. So both of these been around for a long time. They're probably the most traditional, that every Greek household prepares, serves them throughout the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
Viples, which is sort of I don't know how you describe it. We described it before. It's sort of a pastry, which is fried, and it's got, syrup on it and so
The
forth.
best way I can describe it is almost like a Greek churro in a way.
Yeah,
Kind of.
that's a fair way to put it. Yeah.
Kind of.
So those are also very popular throughout
Yeah.
Greece. We certainly had all those, and then mom being mom, we also probably had another 20 different kinds of cookies that she makes every year.
And these three that are mentioned here were also mentioned in our top 10 list a few weeks ago, when we were talking about top 10 desserts that Greeks like.
Yeah. So the last one is actually one that is not one that we did, or actually I don't even think I had heard of this before, but the last one is breaking a pomegranate. Now, we like pomegranates. As a matter of fact, here in here in Tucson, a lot of people can grow them because of the weather and so forth. But it's basically a pomegranate is seen as a symbol of fortune, fertility, prosperity in Greece. And in Greek mythology, for thousands of years, that's been the case. So during the holidays, one would see pomegranates in
Mhm.
Christmas decorations or hanging on the door of houses. And according to the tradition, again, New Year's Eve, just after midnight, the owner of the house would stand outside the front door of the house and break the pomegranate by throwing it on the doorstep, the seeds of which would spread on the floor and mean happiness, health to the family.
Yeah.
Now, you read that and you go, well, what happens if you have, nice carpeting or something, and all of a sudden the pomegranate juice is all over the place? But I
Well,
get the
I think
I
this
get
was
the
meant to be
intent.
done outside. I don't think you
Yeah, yeah,
literally
yeah,
did it,
yeah, yeah,
but it's complete transparency. As kids, we would eat pomegranate, but
yeah.
we would be forced to strip down because it was like a National Geographic special, and you would
Yeah,
think, when we were done, it looked like we were shot or stabbed, or that we were staining dyeing our clothes like we were
yeah,
ancient Egyptians, ready to ride down the Nile.
yeah. It
Very
was it
messy
was it was
process,
it was crazy.
Yeah.
So anyhow, so those are the your typical traditions. I'm sure there's others. If you
Yeah.
have others that you celebrate during the holidays, as always, love to hear it. But that's
Yeah.
where we are with that.
Yeah. Like he said, like if you guys want to share with us what you do,
Yeah,
uh, everybody's traditions are different.
right.
As we've learned with Thanksgiving,
Yeah,
uh, and those of you, whether you're listening to this while you're in the U.S., in Greece, if you're in Canada or even Australia, you know, I would love to, like, especially like those in Australia, like, have Greeks there continued the traditional um uh Christmas traditions? Have they taken on some of the Aussie traditions? Um, you know what I mean? Like, what happens there if you break the pomegranate? Does the kangaroo come and eat it? Like, do they have pomegranate in Australia? Sure, they do.
I think it's got the climate for it. I think,
I
right?
guess they do, right?
Yeah,
That's my
I think
stupid question. That's my stupid question for the week. Does
the interest
Australia have pomegranate? I'm sure. Yeah, like you said, I'm sure they do.
the interesting thing for me is if you leave out Vasilopita for a second,
Sure.
but I mean, just thinking growing up, all of
Yeah.
those sweets and leave pomegranates aside, but kurabiedes, melomakarona, chureki, and all that, we kind of had it year round.
Yeah, yeah, but I think some of them like the Melano Macarona. When you think about it, right,
Yeah,
for what they are, it is more of a cold weather type of
sure,
cookie. You know,
sure.
like it's like I don't know about you, but I'm not gonna have pumpkin pie in the middle of May. Even though
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can
yeah.
make it, in full transparency, I'm a strawberry rhubarb pie type of guy,
Yes,
but
agreed.
that's a conversation for a whole other time. Um, but let's So, like I said, folks, if you have any stories you want to share with us concerning this, we'd love to hear them. But now let's just change it up now and like shift gears and let's talk about uh, the worst gifts you can get. This is our top 10 list. Top 10 worst gifts um, that people can give. Okay, now this is more US based. Again, if you're listening to this, we would love to know what's the worst uh gift a Greek can give another Greek for Christmas. So I'm just going to run down these real quick. We can talk about them.
Sure.
So number 10 on this. Number 10 is when somebody comes into your house and you give them a gift and you're sitting around and you're like anticipating they're going to give you a gift back and they say to you, I'm your gift for being here. Okay? It's happened. It's happened. Okay. As a matter of fact, I was gonna send you I was gonna send you a mug that said I wasn't really gonna send it. I just saw it and I read it. But I'm gonna tell you what it said. It said Merry Christmas. Me being your brother is your gift, but here's a mug anyway. Okay.
Right.
But
Okay.
a little ego there while
Mm-hmm.
I made an appearance. So,
Yeah.
Number 9 on this, anything exercise or diet related.
Ugh.
Now, listen, if somebody says to you, like, people ask, what do you want for Christmas? If somebody asks you for a Peloton, fine.
Yeah.
By no means, if I'm going to pay anywhere between $1,500 to $2,000, am I going to consider that
Yeah.
offensive? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Especially if I ask her. But if somebody shows up with like some sort of like, a year membership to Weight Watchers, I'm going to be a little upset.
Yeah.
Okay. So, or hey, congratulations, I was able to get you some Ozempic fell off the truck. So I'm going to give you free 10 shots of Ozempic. So the next one is photo frames. Not only that, it's one thing to give people photo frames with a photo of you in it. Like, let's say you went somewhere with the individual, you took a photo, you framed it, and you gave it to them. Fine. But don't give people photo frames of some family that doesn't exist that were just models for it. It is a
Yeah.
little tacky.
Oh.
A few years back, more than a few years ago, probably about what, 10, maybe like 15, 20, it's been 20 years, where the digital frames became very popular. Remember, you could put like an SD card into them. Same thing, kind of same thing, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Number 7, anything novel. So if you're looking through Sharper Image, as much as I love Sharper Image, like, do you really need a golf ball cleaner? Or something of that caliber,
Yeah.
like, or another one of my favorites is the nose hair trimmer.
Oh my! Is that on the list, or are you just saying?
No, I'm just
Oh
saying
yeah, yeah,
it,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
the things that are out there. You know what I mean? You know, uh, these are things that maybe at one point in time they were like, oh my God, like amazing, but no. Number 6, I don't agree with this.
Okay.
This one, because I'm a big fan of these socks.
Oh
I like socks. I'm not talking about white ankle socks.
yeah,
Me personally, if there's some funky design on it, I'm all for it. Because you remember, like, Christmas, yeah, would get us socks and underwear. Enough for that you didn't have to wash them for at least 3 months. You know, I don't know. What are your feelings on socks? You like socks?
mm, I mean, we used to. You just mentioned it. We used to get the age of getting underwear, which I
Yeah.
guess was good every year because you can update it. But I think I think my perspective is you take a different things that you want and you appreciate change as you get older.
Mm,
Growing up, you knew, yeah, grandparents were going to buy us the underwear, but
yeah.
same person also bought us the Atari,
True. True
right? The
that.
same
True
video
that.
game. So
True
it was
that.
always, so we kind of
Yeah.
had a mixture of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, Mom asked me last year what I wanted. I asked her I wanted underwear. She's like, "Oh, I'll go to Walmart." I said, "No, no, no, no." I said, "I want these underwears." I think, did I show you my Tony the Tiger?
I don't think I want to see your underwear, but
Oh yeah, so right in the back it says, "You're great, amazing." I got the Pringle underwear too. You know,
I don't want.
chips on your butt. Nothing is better than that. I'm telling you right now. Okay, nothing is better than, like, I got, let's see, Tony the Tiger. I got the Pringles ones, and I think I got Tabasco sauce ones. And
Yeah.
then in the back it says, "You're hot." That's a gift. Okay. Next, these are our final 5. Self-help books. All right. I guess if you so, what are you saying? If you get something a self-help book, does that mean that you're telling them that they have issues? Is that a passive aggressive way?
I mean, I think all of these you have to put them in context, right? You may be having a
Yeah.
conversation with somebody that said, "I'd really like to work on X," and you go, "Here's something that may help you," but I could
Yeah.
see where out of nowhere, if that's what you buy, it's
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Next, number 4 is this is funny because it goes back to our previous episode, okay?
okay,
Chocolates from brands no one's ever heard of.
right.
Now,
Oh, oh, oh,
go
but
ahead.
again, if you when you were talking about the chocolates, where was it in Switzerland or
Ghirardelli?
whatever that you were talking about? No, not
Oh, yeah.
Ghirardelli. Some of the ones in Europe,
Yeah.
you may not know about it because they're not generally here. But if
Yeah,
somebody
but
got me that, and you're
yeah.
like, "Holy mackerel!" I
Yeah.
can,
Yeah, I just think that was funny, And yeah, I mean, think about this. In the US, you take Hershey away, you take Mars away.
yeah.
Majority, you know who owns the majority of the other stake in chocolate in the United States?
Oh,
Ferrero Rocher,
really?
third largest in the US. Yeah.
Wow.
Now, the funny thing is, and I think we've talked about this off camera, like Ferrero Rocher has hundreds. I can't say, I'm not going to say hundreds. Has dozens of brands under
Yeah,
their label that are
yeah,
not available in the United States.
yeah.
Especially in Italy, I walked into this little shop and it was just like almost like a bodega in New York City. Imagine like that. Half of it was liquor and the other half was chocolate. And they had some chips and stuff like that. But they had Ferrero Rocher brands I've never seen before, and I've never ever seen them in the United States. And holy crap, they're like $1.25 for a package. So, you got to clean them out. I got to help the Italian economy,
Yeah.
you know? And yeah, so for me, I've heard of most chocolate brands because I've tasted most chocolate brands.
Right.
But for me, this is like more, what is it? Russell,
Stover.
yeah, or Whitney's.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? These are the same chocolates that, they'll rewrap and use it for Valentine's Day.
Although I will tell you after, because was it was it last year when we went to no, this past year we went to one of the Russell Stover's outlets in
Oh yeah,
the
you were
I was
telling,
in
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
Midwest. I think their line of chocolate that they have that's low sugar. They actually use stevia.
Okay,
Is pretty good for somebody that. But I
gotcha.
agree with you. That stuff is
Yeah,
anyway. Okay, so that was
it,
number 4.
that was number 4. Yeah.
Okay,
So
top
number
3.
3. So here we go. Top 3. Now, this is going back to what I was saying before. Gift cards to places you never go to.
Okay,
You
wow.
know, like if and like we're not, but imagine if you're like, I guess like if you're a vegetarian, are you gonna get? Would you get upset if somebody gave you a gift card to Outback? But I'm assuming like I'm
Uh,
going to the really to the like the far reaches for this because most people who are, let's say, vegetarian, most people know that you're vegetarian.
yeah,
You know, you have a better chance of knowing somebody's vegetarian than gluten free. But
yeah.
you know, but again, like I was saying to you, like if
Th-
you're allergic, if somebody you know is allergic to flowers, do you get them a gift card for flowers?
Well, and that's why if I do get gift cards, I
Yeah,
get the like the Visa or American Express that you can kind of use anywhere
yeah.
because that
But
one
you know
is
what's on just a quick side note of that. Have you noticed lately the surcharges they're charging on that? There's this
hasn't that
company out there. There's this company out there that's pretty much taken over all the Visa gift cards called Vanilla,
okay?
right? And they run most, I'd say, at least 75%, if not more, of the gift cards are run by. I'm not gonna call them a financial institution. I'll call them a pseudo financial institution. But to activate it, they charge you, I think, anywhere between $4.95 to $7.95, right? And then if you don't use the money all at once, they charge you a fee every time the swiping fee. every
Wow.
time you use. So, folks, here's my fun fact for the day. If somebody gives you a gift card, whether it be an Amex or American Express or a MasterCard, what I suggest you use, take that money and buy a gift card that you want with it in all one swoop, or go to Amazon, buy an Amazon gift card with it, and then take the gift card and throw it into your account, and you save yourself some money. Use the whole card in one order. Otherwise, you're going to think you have all this money, and then you do 2 or 3 swipes, and then you're going to figure out you lost a third or a quarter of the money to these fees. So I like gift cards, but they're kind of scamish.
Yeah.
Number 2, anything that's obviously a regift. So, I've read so many stories of people getting gifts,
Yeah.
forgetting who gave them the gift, and
Yeah.
they re-gift it and they give it back to the person who gave it to them. Folks, come on now. If you know you're not going to like something, put a little post-it note on who gave it to you.
Yeah.
Nothing says embarrassing like, hey, somebody gave you, you don't cook, but someone gave you Chela Mendez's greatest hits as a cookbook, and then you turn around a year later and give it back to them.
Yeah.
I think they're going to remember, especially through the years. Through the year, they ask, "Oh, did you use it?" "Oh, yeah, it was delicious. We made this, they that," and then you showed them food that you picked up from the local Greek supermarket. Come on now, it happens. So, by the way, I'm giving you back that underwear you gave me. So number 1 are statement mugs.
Statement mugs?
Yeah, statement mugs. Like mugs that have some sort of like imagine I give you a coffee mug, and on the coffee mug it says life starts somewhere between coffee and wine.
Mm-hmm.
Or something like that. Something that has some sort of statement on, work harder, or I'm here for you, or something like that. You're getting a dozen of these, by the way.
I would say to that, because it goes with the whole premise of this podcast. If you're going to give that type of a coffee mug,
Yeah.
get yourself the ceramic Anthora cup that we all know and love. Remember, they're
Which
available
can
online.
Yes, which can be found online. It's just a quick Google search away. As a matter of fact, I'll add it to this just if you want to give it as a Christmas gift this year. Give it. But yeah, folks. So listen, we're gonna have one more show after this. It'll be our Christmas spectacular show. I don't
Extravaganza.
know what this show is gonna be about. It'll be something Christmas themed. But we'll probably air it right a day or two before Christmas. So just a quick reminder, if you can just like us and subscribe to us, we would really appreciate it. Any feedback you've had that we discussed today, we would love to hear from you. And that pretty much wraps up today's show. Anything you want to add?
Are we going to sing Kalenda on that last show? Yours
All right, listen.
Vasily
Listen.
Saint-Gaudens.
Listen. We'll discuss this off air. We'll get the music. Okay. I'm pretty sure. I think it's public domain at this
That'll be
point in
that'll be
time.
the first episode that gets dropped from YouTube.
I don't listen. I think this. If we sang, I think maybe we'll do like a karaoke sing along. But you know what? We're definitely. We're definitely gonna do a song because you know what? Because the feedback we're gonna get from Mom is gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
She finally. What's that?
No, go ahead.
No. She finally saw the last episode.
Okay.
She called me maybe last week. She left me a message. No, you know what she called me? She called me Thanksgiving morning,
Okay.
and I was busy doing things.
Yeah.
And she called me just to say to me, "Hey, I saw your your stupidity again on YouTube," and then hangs up the phone. That's it. That's what I got from her. That's
Did you
it.
ever get a follow up on that, or that's where we stand?
I didn't go down there. I called her
Okay.
like a few days later. And then all she said about that was, I said, "Oh, did you need something?" And she was like, "No, I just wanted to tell you I watched the last episode. You know, you know, told me about the Vlakias that we're talking about."
Mhm.
But
It's good to have the
anyway, guys,
biggest,
listen.
the head of our
What's
fan
that?
club. It's good to have the
Oh,
fan
she's
of
our
our
number
fan.
one fan without saying it. Number one fan without a shadow of a doubt. I almost want to get her a T-shirt for Christmas that says like number one fan. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But anyways, listen, folks. Have a great time preparing for the holiday season. Be careful out there. Have fun shopping. Have fun decorating your homes. Like we've said numerous times here, we'd love to hear what you guys are doing. But until our last episode, take care. Be good to each other, and we'll see you soon.
Yes.